Good morning, students. Now I'm going to take you to an important topic in Unit 2, electromagnetic waves in engineering physics. The topic today I'm going to discuss is the reflection and transmission of electromagnetic waves by normal incidence in the interface between the medium and vacuum. So we are going to consider the two phenomena of the electromagnetic wave encounters when it is interfere with the interference of medium and vacuum. That two phenomena are reflection and transmission. Here, the incidence of electromagnetic wave is going to be considered as normal incidence. The normal incidence is nothing but incident perpendicular to the surface, right? So this is a very important topic on this unit because this gives us the essence of how the Maxwell equation and concepts which is obtained from the Maxwell equation for explaining many scientific informations, and particularly from this topic I'm going to explain how this phenomena of electromagnetic waves is useful for us to understand the wave propagation in optics or in optical medium in the optics in terms of the refractive indexes of the medium. Okay, so let us talk about this topic much elaborately in the session. First of all, let me assume an electromagnetic wave which is traveling along the z-axis, which is traveling along the z-axis. Let us say the line represented here is separates the two mediums, medium 1 and medium 2. As per our normal understanding, the property of the medium for electric field and magnetic field by understood using the permittivity and permeability. Let us say epsilon 1 is the permittivity of medium 1 and mu 1 is the permeability of medium 2, and epsilon 2 and mu 2 are the permittivity and permeability of medium 2. So you can take the medium 1 as vacuum or air, and you can also take the medium 2 as glass or any non-conducting medium. Okay, so in this situation I'm going to consider an electromagnetic wave which is propagating along x-axis, sorry, z-axis, from the medium 1, say air, to medium 2, say a non-conducting medium like glass. Let this electromagnetic wave, what I'm going to consider here is x polarized plane wave. So I told you in the previous class what is mean by x polarized plane wave. Okay, and in this system here, the electric field vector which is incidence on the first medium at the interface is considered called as EI, and the magnetic field vector of incident wave is say BI, and this particular wave which is incident on the interface between the two medium, the boundary between the two medium, is moving with the velocity v1 in the first medium. Okay, so here the plane, here this plane what we are considering is xy plane, which is considered to be the plane of interface, or this is considered to be the interface between the or boundary between the medium 1 and medium 2. Okay. So by our assumption, if I say this is the direction of this 3 represents the characteristics of the incident electromagnetic wave, and this direction represents the incident electric field, and this direction represents the incidence magnetic field, and this wave is moving with the velocity v1 along z-axis. So the wave vector in this z-axis is say k1. So you all know how to represent the different orientation or different direction by using the unit vector. If I say this one is z-axis and this one is x-axis and this one is y-axis, since this is a positive y-axis and this can be labeled as minus y, and this is a positive z-axis, this can be labeled as minus z, and this is positive x and this is negative x. So I can write, say, I is the unit vector of x-axis, j is the unit vector of y-axis, and k is the unit vector of z-axis. So similar way for negative axis also you can give the unit vectors. So by our assumption, we are taking a plane wave which is coming from medium 1 towards the medium 2, and it is intersecting or interacting at the boundary. So the incident electromagnetic wave is given by this small representation. So the incident electric field is along x-axis and incident magnetic field is along y-axis, and the wave is moving towards the positive z-axis with the velocity of v1. Okay, with the velocity of v1. Here vi, ei are vectors. Okay. Now when this electromagnetic wave interact with this boundary, there will be a two type of phenomena will happen for this particular incident electromagnetic wave. That is, when the wave interact in the boundary between the two medium, the part of wave is transmitted into the second medium. So just if I take, if I'm having a electromagnetic wave is traveling along one direction, when it is interact with the boundary, a part of electromagnetic wave will be transmitted into the medium 2 from medium 1, and some part of the electromagnetic wave may be reflected back into the same medium of medium 1. Okay, so the part of electromagnetic wave which is moving with the velocity v2, into the medium 2 is called as transmitted wave. And for the transmitted electromagnetic wave, this represents the direction component of transmitted wave, electric field component of transmitted wave, and this represents the direction of magnetic field component of the transmitted wave, and this electromagnetic wave will moves with the velocity of v2 in the z-axis. Here the wave vector in medium 2 is k2. Then the remaining part, another part of electromagnetic wave which is incident on the interface, which is reflected back into the same medium, will be called as reflected wave, and this reflected wave will have the electric field component along this direction, that is positive x direction, and the magnetic field will be along negative y direction, and this wave will travel back into the same medium in the direction of minus z-axis with the velocity v1. With the velocity v1. So what we are observing, a wave with an electric field vector ei and vi, which is moving with the velocity v1, which is traveling along z-axis, intersect at the boundary or at the interface, experience are divided into two components. One is the part of wave is transmitted into the second medium, which is called as transmitted wave, and it is given by the electric field vector is bt and magnetic field vector is bt, and this particular electromagnetic wave is moving with the velocity v2. Okay, so in the second medium the wave vector is k2, and the wave which is returned back into the same medium of, that is medium 1, is called reflected wave, and the reflected wave will be along in the same medium, but now the direction of propagation becomes opposite to the previous movement. So in this case you can able to observe the electric field vector is along positive x-axis, and magnetic field vector is along negative y-axis, and the wave will be move along minus z-axis with the velocity v1. Velocity v1. Here the power of the reflected wave, will be along this wave direction. Say it is S. Okay, and this xy plane is the plane where the incidence is happening, and this is considered to be the boundary between the two mediums, and the wave we are considering is called x polarized plane wave for our discussion. Okay, so I hope this assumptions are understandable for you. Now let me discuss this phenomena of reflection and transmission when a wave is encounters the interface between the two medium. So for that we have to start with the equations corresponding to the different types of fields present in this system. So what are all the fields present in the system? If you ask like that, there are three types of fields present here. First one is the incidence field, which is coming from medium 1 and travel towards z-axis with the velocity v1. And second field which is present in the system is the reflected field, which is encounters the reflection at the interface and return back into the medium 1. Now the direction of propagation of this reflected wave is opposite to the wave which is incidence. So here the wave is traveling along minus z-axis, and the electric field vector along positive x-axis, and magnetic field vector is opposite to the previous situation, that is in minus y-axis. Okay, minus y-axis. The third wave or third electric field or third field we have to consider is corresponding to transmitted wave fields. So this transmitted wave field is something which is corresponding to the electromagnetic wave which is penetrated through the interface and enter into the medium 2, where you are having the permittivity and permeability are mu naught epsilon 2 and mu 2, and inside this medium 2 this electromagnetic wave is moving with the velocity v2, and the directions of electric field and magnetic field vectors are represented using this diagram. Okay, so these are all the things. So by having all these informations, now we are going to see this phenomena mathematically, and we will come up with some important relationships at the end of this expressions. Okay, Let us see the theory much elaborately. Now, first let me consider the incident wave fields. Let us consider the incidence wave fields. Let me consider the incident wave field. Let me consider incident wave field. Okay. So what is incident wave field? So we have two components on wave field. One is the electrical component and second is the magnetic component. We know that by our previous discussions, the electrical component of incident electric field, that is Z comma T, here Z represents the direction of propagation, is equal to E0I into e power I k1 z, because we are considering the first medium, the wave vector is k1 minus omega t, and the incident electric field is along positive x-axis. Similar way, I can write the equation for incident magnetic field component Bi z comma t equal to B0I e power I k1 z minus omega t. Now this is in y-axis. So before the interference, both the electric field and magnetic field vectors are moving along positive z-axis with the wave vector k1 with the velocity. The electromagnetic wave is moving with the velocity e1. So by our previous discussions, we know B equal to E by C. So for this case, if I say the wave is moving with the velocity v1, I can write B0, I can write B0I is equal to E0I divided by v1, because the electromagnetic wave is moving with the velocity. So under this consideration, I can also write Bi z comma t equal to, instead of B0I, I can write like E0I divided by v1 into e power I k1 z minus omega t j vector. Since this is moving along z-axis, there will not be any z component here. Say this is equation number. This is equation number 1. Let me call this as equation number 1. So is that clear? So all these equations are called equation number 1. So this is the mathematical expressions of incident wave field what we are considering, and this can be obtained or realized by the diagrams that we have drawn previously. I think all these lines are understandable to you. Now let me consider about the second part, the wave which is reflected back into the same medium. Now the direction of propagation of this reflected wave field is along minus z-axis, and magnetic field vector is minus y-axis, and magnetic electric field vector is along positive x-axis. So I can write the reflected electric field can be written as E0R e power I. Now this time, as the electromagnetic wave is moving along minus z axis, I can write k1 z minus omega t into I into I. So, like what we have done for the magnetic field component of incident electromagnetic wave, let me do the same for the magnetic component of electromagnetic wave, which is reflected. It can be written like E0r divided by the velocity v1 e power I minus k1z minus omega t. Now this time the unit vector will be minus j. The unit vector will be minus j because the magnetic field orientation is get changed for a reflected wave. So I can put, instead of simple j, I can put minus j in order to represent the direction of the magnetic field orientation is minus j. Say this is equation number 2. So the equation 1 and 2 are understandable for you, right? Now let me write down the third part of the equation. It is given by the transmitted wave, that is given by transmitted wave fields. This is given by transmitted wave fields. So the transmitted wave field equation is given by Et z comma t equal to E0t e power I. Now the wave vector becomes k2 and it is along positive z axis minus omega t into I. It's a gap. And also we can write the magnetic component of the transmitted wave Bt is equal to, again you can write E naught t divided by velocity v2, because the velocity of the electromagnetic wave in the second medium is v2 e power I k2 z minus omega t into vector j. Say this is equation number 3. So we just defined the equations for the electric field component and magnetic field component for the 3 types of waves present here. One is incident wave, second is reflected wave, and third one is transmitted wave. So equation 1 gives the concept information about the incident wave in terms of electric field vector and magnetic field vector, and equation 2 gives us the information about the reflected wave in terms of electric field vector and magnetic field vector, and the third equation gives us the information about the transmitted wave in the second medium. Okay, so I hope the equations what we have seen, this is for the incident wave and this is for reflected wave, and these 2 equations are understandable for you, and based on these 3 equations we are going to continue our discussion in this topic further. So before going into the topic, it is important to understand the Poynting vector direction, which represents the power transported by the electromagnetic wave. Since the wave is traveling along minus z axis, since the wave is traveling along minus z-axis for reflected wave, for the reflected wave, the component Br, is in minus j direction, and which is in turn that also represents the orientation of the Ponting vector S. That also represents the Ponting vector S. Okay. So the Ponting vector we may obtain by this simple relation S equal to E cross B divided by mu or mu1. For the first medium, the Ponting vector which is going to be present in the medium 1 before the incidence, or in the medium 1 is given by this equation E cross B by mu1. Okay. So by the understanding of the equation 1, which represents the incident wave, and reflected wave from equation 2, and we can use the equation 3, which represents the transmitted wave, we will continue our discussion on the reflected and transmitted waves by considering the boundary conditions of the electric field and magnetic field at the interface. Electric field and magnetic field at the interface. Now, let us take the boundary condition. So, what is boundary condition? So, boundary condition is nothing but the conditions which is present at the boundary. So, and at this case, let us imagine the wave is traveling from vacuum to a dielectric medium, So we all know the boundary conditions are having two parameters like normal component and tangential component. So the normal component of electric vector is equal to d1n minus 2dn is equal to rho s. That is a surface charge. And in terms of electric field, I can write this expression as epsilon 1 E1n minus epsilon 2 E2n equal to rho s. And the second boundary condition, which also talks about the normal components of magnetic field, that is B1n equal to B2n. And third boundary condition, which is represents the electric field component for tangential component, it is given by E1t is equal to B2t. And the fourth boundary condition we normally consider for tangential component for the magnetic field, that is B1t divided by mu1 B1 minus B2t divided by mu t is equal to Js. So this is the general boundary condition what we have arrived in the previous class. Now, for this situation where the electromagnetic wave is transporting from air to medium, that is vacuum to medium or vacuum to dielectrics, we assume the conductivity of the mediums are 0. By the way, this represents the current density also becomes 0. So since there is no charge inside the medium, the rho also becomes 0. So by these three assumptions for the mediums, air and non-conducting one, we can modify this equation. Like first equation becomes d1n minus d2n equal to 0. That is equal to, that will imply d1n is equal to d2n. And similar way, number 2 is already b1n is equal to b2n. That is the normal component of magnetic field as well as electric field becomes continuous. And the third condition, that is E tangential for first medium is equal to E tangential for second medium, and the fourth equation, it becomes B1t divided by mu1 is equal to B2t divided by mu2. Okay, these are all the important boundary conditions for the case right now we are dealing with. So please remember these two boundary conditions. So from the boundary conditions only we are going to make our discussion further. Okay, so I hope you all understand what is this boundary conditions means. When the electromagnetic waves are intersect at medium at z is equal to 0, intersect at the medium at z is equal to 0, the combined field on left side must be equal to the fields in the right side. So you all know that the electric field in the left side is incident and reflected, and in the case of magnetic field, it will be given by Bi and Br, and for the right hand side the field present is Et and Bt. So you can say at z equal to 0, due to these boundary conditions, the field present in the left side for electric field, we are having Ei plus Er, that is equal to Et. Similar way, for a magnetic field, we have Bi plus Br, that is equal to Bt. So this is the condition of the fields present on the both side of the interface, that is in medium 1 and 2, and taking the incidence at z equal to 0. At z equal to 0. Is it clear? Since from the diagram you can able to say both in the incident electromagnetic wave and the reflected electromagnetic wave, the components of electric field and magnetic field, the electric field and the magnetic field is parallel to the xy plane. This is parallel to the xy plane. So this tells you that there is no perpendicular component is present for this situation. Then the equations, in this equation, the boundary condition 1 and the boundary condition 2 will not possible. So this becomes trivial. So the only available boundary conditions are these two, which are corresponding to the tangential component. Hope you are all understand. So out of these 4 boundary conditions, due to the fact that the magnetic field vector and electric field vector of incident as well as reflected waves are parallel to the xy plane, then we don't have the perpendicular component. So the boundary conditions 1 and 2 will not be useful for us. So we can discard this boundary condition. So we can discard this boundary condition. So only boundary condition we have to consider is this tangential boundary conditions. And I'm going to take this boundary conditions and applying these equations in these boundary conditions 3 and 4, we are going to continue our discussion. So first we framed the mathematical equations for 3 fields like transmitted field, reflected field, and incident field. Then we have framed the boundary conditions. Out of these boundary conditions, we are going to apply the condition on the electric field at z equal to 0 on this boundary condition. Then we are going to get the required equations. Shall we do that? Yes. First, let us consider the boundary condition. Let us consider the boundary condition 3. Let us consider the boundary condition 3. It is given by E1t equal to E2t. That is, this represents the transmitted electromagnetic field, electric field component. So from our previous discussion here, the electrical component present in the left side, is equal to EI plus ER equal to ET. It is equal to ET. So now I am applying the general equations for EI and ER from the equation 1, and I can able to write EI equal to E naught I e power I k1z minus omega t, plus from equation 2 I can write E0R equal to E0R e power I k1z minus omega t that's equal to Et equal to E0t e power I k2z minus omega t. These are the equations obtained from the equation 1, 2, 3 what we have previously derived. Now at the interface the z is equal to 0. Then the first term in the exponential part of all these 3 factors becomes 0. Then the above equation can be written as E0 I e power I minus I omega t plus E0 R e power minus I omega t, that's equal to E0 t e power minus I omega t. So in this equation we can remove the common factor e power minus I omega t in all part. Then my equation becomes E0 I plus E0 R, that's equal to E0 T. Is that clear? Yes. Say this is equation number 4. Say this is equation number 4. So by using the boundary condition 3, that is the tangential component of electric field in the first medium, that is equal to tangential component of electric field in the second medium, and the total field present in the left hand side is equal to total field present in the right hand side. By using these two things, I'm just modified this expression. I've just modified this expression, and I'm coming to the equation for the electric field as E0I plus E0R, that's equal to E0T. See, this is equation number 4. Is that clear to you, students? Yes. So do some simple mathematics derivations, then you can easily able to do these operations very simply. Now let us come to the boundary condition 4. Let us come to the boundary condition. Let us come to the boundary condition 4, which is given that B0I divided by mu1 minus B0R by mu1, because the negative sign represented here due to the movement of reflected magnetic part is minus y-axis. So just I'm using minus instead of plus here. That is equal to the magnetic component of transported wave B02 by mu2. Okay. Yes. So by the simple relationship between the magnetic field vector B to the electric field vector E by V, I can rewrite this expression like E0I divided by mu1 V1 minus E0R divided by mu1 V1, because both parts are in the first medium, that is equal to E0T divided by mu2 V2, because the electric field is going to be, the transmitted electric field is going to be in the second medium with the velocity V2. Okay. So this equation I can rearrange like E0I minus E0R divided by mu1 V1, that is equal to E0T divided by mu2 V2. So we can take this parameter in the left hand side to right hand side. Then we will have E01 plus, sorry, E01 minus E0R, that's equal to mu1 V1 divided by mu2 V2 into E0T. It is E0t. Now let me assume this equation, this part mu1 v1 by mu2 v2 equal to beta. So by using the simple relation that the refractive index n1 equal to c by v, that is the velocity of light in the vacuum divided by the velocity of light in the medium. We can write n1 is equal to c by v1, and similar way n2 is equal to c by v2, c by v2. So I can write this equation of beta in terms of the refractive index, like mu1 by mu2. Instead of v2, v1, I can substitute c by n1 divided by c by n2. So c cancel. So I can write beta is equal to mu1 by mu2 n2 by n2 by n1. So this quantity can becomes beta. This becomes beta. So the expression becomes E0i minus E0r, that is equal to beta. So beta, how can we write this? How can you write this? Beta E0t. E0t. Say this is equation number 5. Say this is equation number 5. So in the previous slide, we obtained the equation 4, that is E0i plus E0r equal to E0t by the first boundary condition 3 from the tangential component of electric field, and by applying the fourth boundary condition for the tangential component of magnetic field, which is given by this equation, we have come to the equation number 4 and 5. Now, is that clear, students? Whatever the thing we have discussed so far, I hope you are all following me. Now, let me take this equation 4 and this equation 5. Let me take this equation 4 and equation 5. So, what is equation 4? The equation 4 is E0i plus E0r equal to E0t. This is obtained from the tangential component boundary condition. Similar way, this is equation number 4, and equation 5 is given by E0i minus E0r, that is equal to beta E0t, like this. Say this is equation number 5. So from this equation, I'm going to take you to the further discussion on the topic. Now, let me add equation 4 and 5. Let me add the equation 4 and 5. I will get the left hand side E0i plus E0r, the left hand side, plus E0i minus E0r, that is from the left hand side of the equation 5, that is equal to E0t plus beta E0t on the right hand side, E0t plus beta E0t. So here the quantity this and this will get cancelled. So we have 2 E0i is equal to take B E0t common, you will get 1 plus beta into E0t. So by this process, we can able to get the electric field equation for the transmitted waves in terms of the incident electric field component. So the electric field component of the transmitted wave that is equal to 2E0I divided by 1 plus beta. Say this is equation number 6. So this equation is nothing but the electric field component of transmitted wave in terms of the electric field component of incident wave. Now I am going to submit or substitute equation 6 in equation number 4. Substitute equation 6 in equation number 4. You will get E0I plus E0R, that is equal to 2E0I divided by 1 plus beta. So I'm just substituting the E0t from this equation 6. I can able to get this part. Now let me take this E0I to this right hand side. I can able to get E0R, that is equal to 2E0I divided by 1 plus beta minus E0I. So let me simplify this equation further. I can able to write like 2E0I minus E0I into 1 plus beta divided by 1 plus beta. Is that right? Are you clear about this step? Further, if I expand this part or simplify this part, I can end up like just take E0I outside, then you are getting 2 minus 1 minus beta into E0I divided by 1 plus beta. So you will get 1 minus beta divided by 1 plus beta into E0I. Say this is the equation for the reflected electric field, reflected component of electric field in terms of the incident electric field component. That is 1 minus beta by 1 plus beta into E0I. So equation 7. So now we have all three electric field vectors, like incident electric field vector, transmitted electric field vector, and reflected electric field vector with a simple or single notation, that is in terms of E0I. So the incident electric field component is given by E0I. The reflected field component is given by 1 minus beta divided by 1 plus beta into E0I, and the transmitted component of electric field is given by 2 by 1 plus beta into E0I. So the incident electric field is 1 E0I. The the reflected component is 1 minus beta by 1 plus beta times the E0I, and the transmitted component is 2 by 1 plus beta times E naught I. So we have all these three wave fields by a simple and single representation. So with these equations, we can explain some of the or many of the important concepts in optics. So one of the important concepts in optics is the reflection and transmission of light from one medium to another medium. This reflection and transmission of light from one medium to another medium is realized by the factor reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient. Okay. So in the coming discussion, I'm going to explain how can I get the equations for reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient from this concept of incident electric field equation, transmitted electric field equation, incident electric field equation, which is obtained from our previous discussion. Now let us talk more about the reflection and transmission coefficient of an optical light or electromagnetic wave. So hope you are all understood and following me up to this point. Is it clear? Now let us continue our discussion further. So now I am going to take you to the topic of reflection and transmission coefficients. Reflection and transmission coefficients. So we know that when this medium is air and the second medium is a non-conducting medium, when an electromagnetic wave is transmitted from the air to a non-conducting medium, let us assume the permeability of first medium is equal to permeability of second medium, that is equal to permeability of vacuum. Let us assume like that. And with the previous discussion, that is refractive index N1 is equal to velocity of light in the vacuum divided by velocity of light in that particular medium. Similarly, you can write N2 is equal to C by V2. So from our expression for beta, we just discussed the factor for beta here. From the expression for beta, we can write beta equal to mu1 mu2 into n2 by n1. Mu1 by mu2 is equal to n2 by n1. Since I'm taking mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu naught, just I'm going to cancel this out. Then beta equal to, it is the ratio between the refractive indexes of the second medium to first medium, that is n1 by, that is n2 by n1, that is n2 by n1. Okay, that is n2 by n1. Is it clear? So from equation 6 and 7, so from equation 6 and 7, what is sixth equation? So sixth equation is the equation for transmitted electric field, and equation 7 is for reflected electric field. I'm going to substitute the value of beta. So let me write down the equation 6 and 7 here. First, let me write down the equation 6 here. Equation 6 is E0t, the transmitted electric field, is equal to 2 by 1 plus beta into E0t. Okay, this is equation number 6. This is equation number 6. And the equation number 7 is E0R. E0R equal to 1 minus beta divided by 1 plus beta into E0I. So I'm just substituting the value for beta, which is obtained from the previous step. In these two equations, I will get this is equal to 2 by 1 plus n2 by n1 into E0I, and this can be written like 2 by n1 plus n2 divided by n1 into E0I, that is equal to 2n1 divided by n1 plus n2 into E0I. Is it clear? Yes. Say this is equation number 8. This is equation number 8. So equation 8 is given by E. So equation 8 is gives us the expression for transmitted wave, transmitted electric field in terms of refractive index. That is E0t equal to 2n1 by n1 plus n2 into E0I. This is equation number 8. This is equation number 8. Now, let us take the equation for reflection component. That is, we are going to apply the value of beta here. Then I can able to get 1 minus n2 by n1, and substituting the value of beta here, it is equal to 1 plus n2 by n1 into E0I. So this will gives me n1 minus n2 by n1 divided by n1 plus n2 by n1. So this n1 is get cancelled. We have that n1 minus n2 divided by n1 plus n2 into E0I. So the equation 9 is gives us the equation for the reflection component in terms of the refractive indexes of the first and second medium. So this reflection component, and that is refractive index, is based on the material's character. It is based on the velocity of light in the particular medium to vacuum, and it is given by equation number 9. So we have the same equation, say equation number 6 and 7, which represents the electrical component of transmitted wave and electrical component of reflected wave in terms of the incident electric field. Now we just modified according to our requirement for an optical application in terms of refractive index. Now we have changed the representation of reflected wave and transmitted wave in terms of refractive index, which is more convenient for us to use this equation 8 and 9. Use the equation 8 and 9 for the optical analysis. Okay, optical area. Okay, now let us talk about the term called reflection coefficient. Reflection coefficient. What is reflection coefficient? The reflection coefficient is nothing but it is the ratio between the intensity of reflected wave to the intensity of incident wave. So normally the reflection coefficient will be represented by the symbol capital R, that is equal to I by IR by II. Here IR is the intensity of reflected wave, and it is given by IR is equal to 1 by 2 epsilon 1 V1 E0R the whole square. Similar way, II is the intensity of incident wave, and it also given by II equal to 1 by 2 epsilon 1 V1 E0I. Both fields are in the same medium. Both fields are in the same medium. So I can substitute this equation in the definition for reflection coefficient R equal to IR by II. I will get R equal to 1 by 2 epsilon 1 V1 E0R divided by 1 by 2 epsilon 1 V1 E0I. So just cancel out the equal terms here. So we have reflectance is equal to E0R divided by E0I. We just found the expression for reflection component in terms of refractive index in the equation 8, in the equation 9. That is, equation 8 is given by E0T equal to 2N1 by N1 plus N2 into E0I. This is equation number 8. And E0R, that is the reflection component, is equal to N1 minus N2 by N1 plus N2 into E0I. This is equation number 9. So from equation number equation number 9, I can write N1 minus N2. So here it is E squared now. So I can write this is E0T, E0R equal to N1 minus N2 by N1 plus N2 the whole square, because we are considering E0OR squared. So this becomes N1 minus N2 by N1 plus N2 squared into E0I squared divided by E0I square. So this E0I square, this E0I square is cancelled out. So remaining is N1 minus N2 divided by N1 plus N2 the whole power 2, and this parameter is nothing but the reflection coefficient R. It is nothing but the reflection coefficient R. So this gives us the percentage of light rays, the electromagnetic waves, which is going to be reflected back into the medium, back into the first medium when it is intersect at the boundary. Okay, so this is called the reflection coefficient, and this in terms of the refractive indexes. Say this is equation number 10. So the equation number 10 is very much useful for us to understand the percentage of light rays or electromagnetic waves going to be reflected back into the same medium. Now let me talk about another parameter called transmission coefficient. Transmission coefficient. The transmission coefficient, also defined as, it is the ratio between the intensity of transmitted wave to the intensity of the incident wave. The transmitted intensity of transmitted wave to the intensity of incident wave. I've just written the intensity of transmitted wave is going to be half epsilon 2 V2 E02 the whole square, because the transmitted wave is in the second medium, and we already know I equal to 1 by 2 epsilon 1 V1 E0I the whole square, E0I the whole square. I'm going to substitute these two equations in the expression for transmission coefficient, that is 1 by 2 epsilon 2 V2. Here V2 is the velocity of the electromagnetic wave in the medium 2 divided by half epsilon 1 V1. Here V1 is the velocity of electromagnetic wave in the medium 2 is 0I the whole square. Is 0I the whole square. Just cancel out these two terms, and half you will have E2 V2 divided by epsilon 1 V1. Epsilon 2 divided by epsilon 1, we have this equation. Okay, so this is not ET, this is ET. So here we have a small variation here. You will have the component of, okay, just think about this. Just let us redo this. That is, so here IT is equal to of epsilon 2 V2 E02 the whole square. II is equal to of epsilon 1 V1 E0I the whole square. Then I can write 1 by 2 epsilon 2 V2 E02 the whole square divided by of epsilon 1 V1 E0I the whole square. Half cancelled. So from equation number 8, I can substitute, that is equation number 8 is given by 2n1 by n1 plus n2 into E0I, that is E0t equal to 2n1 divided by n1 plus n2 into E0I. So if I take the E0t the whole square is equal to, that becomes 2n1 by n1 plus n2 the whole square into E0I the whole square. So this equation now becomes epsilon 2 V2 divided by epsilon 1 V1 2n1 square divided by n1 plus n2 square into E0I the whole square divided by E0I the whole square. This E0I square is equal to, so this E square is here, and what we are substituted here is going to be here. The both are get cancelled. Then we have transmission coefficient T is equal to epsilon 2 V2 divided by epsilon 1 V1 4n1 square divided by n1 plus n2, okay. You just written like n1 equal to c by v1 and n2 equal to c by v2. So we can modify this equation C with T equal to epsilon 2. Instead of this one, I can write N2 by epsilon N1 into 4 N1 4 N1 square divided by N1 plus N2. Just cancel these two factors. Then you are having the transmission coefficients equal to epsilon 2 by epsilon 1 4 n1 n2 divided by n1 plus n2 the whole square, n1 by n2 the whole square. Okay, so if we assume, just we consider as mu1 is equal to mu2 is equal to mu0, similar way I can consider epsilon 1 is equal to epsilon 2 is equal to epsilon 0. These two parameters will get cancelled, so I can write the transmission coefficients equal to 4 n1 n2 divided by n1 plus n2 the whole square, n1 plus n2 the whole square. Okay, so this equation is called equation number 11. So equation number 11 is gives you the expression for transmission coefficient in terms of the refractive index. So for any system, the sum of this reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient is always 1. The sum of the reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient is always 1. So we just written the reflection coefficient R equal to n1 minus n2 divided by n1 plus into the whole square, and transmission coefficient is given by 4 n1 n2 divided by n1 plus n2 the whole square. Okay, so these two are very important relations in the optics point of view, and this equation value R will gives you the percentage of wave reflected at the interface, and T gives us the percentage of wave transmitted through the medium. So these two are very much useful for our practical applications. So in this way, we can say these equations are found very useful in optics. By the way, this gives us a good essence of use of Maxwell's equations and the related expression we have derived in many applications. Here, this Maxwell equation is useful in terms of reflection coefficient and transmission coefficient derivations in optics. So this is the concept of reflection and transmissions when the electromagnetic wave is incidence normally in the medium between the that is the boundary between the two mediums. Say first medium is vacuum or air and the second medium is dielectric or non-conducting medium. So we are simply considering the electromagnetic wave is moving from vacuum to non-conducting medium. Okay. Hope the topic what I have discussed so far is very useful for you, and if you have any doubts, you ask during our physical discussions. Thank you.